All right, and joining me today is Mairon Santos, who fights Sodiq Yusuff at UFC Vegas 106. That fight is on May 17th. So, Myron, I want to start by talking about the Ultimate Fighter House because, lots of people have different experiences, and obviously it's better if you win when you're in there. But, separated from family, all the kind of not being able to talk on social media, all that kind of stuff. What was it like for you in the Ultimate Fighter House?
So for me, it was really challenging because at the time, I just had brought my wife here and she was new to the US, like didn't know how to live here, didn't speak English, and it was like in Vegas. So I knew how to go home. I knew the street that I was, so I knew everything. So I was like, okay, if I just walk, I can go home. Like it will take just 1 hour. I'll see my wife. I'll check on her. And anyways, I was thinking a lot about that. I think that was like the distraction that I was having during my time in the house. But other than that, I was like pretty focused. And also like the good thing, I knew that when the show wrapped up, I would be home. So that was cool. So there's these two sides of the thing, but overall it was very good experience.
Well, that's good. And obviously you get different training partners than you have at Xtreme Couture and in all the other places you've trained, different coaches, things like that. Did you have a big takeaway you took from, training with all those different people?
Um, I learned a lot with the team that Alexa brought, her team, and the teammates were very weird because I knew that I could fight one of them, and I actually fought two of my teammates. One of them was my roommate in the house, so I think that was the difference because usually in the gym, you know that you're not gonna fight the guy. And over there, I was like, okay, if I show too much, this guy gonna see and he's gonna know like my skills and everything. So it was weird, but it was a good experience.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, also, obviously some fighters go through this experience of it being weird that they don't have their own coaches there, right? Like Eric Nixick, not in your corner, all the people not in your corner. What was it weird when you came back in between rounds and maybe it wasn't the person you were expecting?
To be honest, it was at the time I just had left the team that I was, and I was like, I wasn't work with Eric yet. I started work with him for the finale, but before the house, I never worked with him or any coach at Extreme. I was training there, but I didn't have any coach there. So I just treated like, okay, this is a new coach and I'm gonna try to adapt like to their style and everything. So that case, like with coaches, it wasn't a big thing for me because at the time I was very open to have new coaches.
Well, and it obviously worked for you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what's been going on outside of the cage because I know right before your second UFC bout, you had your first child. Congratulations, first of all. Yeah, and a lot of people have talked about how that sort of changes their approach in fighting and how they think about fighting because they're not just fighting for themselves anymore. And obviously you've been very vocal about fighting for your family and your wife and stuff like that. But how has it changed since you've become a father?
Everything changed, and I see how selfish I was before, and now like I really have to fight for them because I'm the guy that's providing to my house, and my kids gonna have a good future because of my actions today. So everything changed. I think my motivation right now is not so selfish. I still fight for my dream, but I fight for the dream too. So it's different, but it's cool. I like it, and I think it's just gonna bring good things for me.
Absolutely. And now you've talked about, sort of starting up at Extreme Couture at the finale. You've now been there for a whole fight, about to prepare for a second fight for it. I want to ask you a question about one of your teammates because I know you've trained with Mateus Camillo, who's fighting Gabe Green on this fight card. He's one of the rare guys. He didn't have to go through the Ultimate Fighter House. He didn't have to go through the Contender Series. They just liked him enough to sign him. So tell me, give the fans a little bit of a preview of what we can expect to see from Matheus.
So you guys can expect heavy hands for sure. He's my main training partner, and it's hard to have hands with him because he's strong, he hits hard, and I think like the way that things happened with him was perfect because he deserved it a lot. Like you said, he didn't go through tough or contender, but he was like fighting a lot with good frequency in the regional scene, and he fought against the guy that was like asking for a chance, Dana White. So it was kind of like a contender series match because if the guy had won, Dana would have signed him. So we all knew that this could happen, and I'm happy for him. I'm so happy that we are fighting the same day, and I'm fighting in his debut. And like, I don't have a lot of experience in the UFC too, so it's a fresh start for both of us. So it's gonna be good. He's my brother, and I can't wait.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your fight too, because not only is it, your second fight under Xtreme Couture, your third fight in the UFC, but it's also against Sodiq Yusuff, which is a pretty huge step up in competition from where you were in your last fight. When the UFC called you and said, "Hey, look, we want you to fight Sodiq Yusuff next," what were sort of your first reactions to that?
My first reaction was, "Let's go." That's what I want. My dream was to come to the UFC to fight the best, and he's a big name. So I was just super excited, and I'm still am, and I just can't wait, man. Like I feel like these days are going so slow right now because I really want to fight. I'm excited because it's a new weight class. I have to cut less weight, so I'm happy with that too. It's like it has been less stressful. So I just can't wait. He's a big name, and I know a win over him gonna change my career. So I want to make a statement against him.
Well, I was going to ask you about the weight too. Was the choice to move up in weight just that the weight cuts were getting so much harder? Was it because you're getting bigger? Like, what was the reasoning behind choosing the weight change?
So actually, that was the opportunity that came. I was That's something that's like in my head a little bit after my last fight, but I haven't decided yet. After the fight, I'll talk with the team, managers, and everything and see. But the UFC needed fights for this card, and I said to my manager, I can make 155. And he said, okay, I'll be in touch. And then this opportunity came. So it's not permanent, but we'll see after the fight.
All right. And well, now I want to ask you about the stylistic matchup of fighting Sadiq Youssef too, because obviously, there's lots of film out there on him. You've gotten time to study him. How do you think your skills match up with Sadiq?
So I think it's a good matchup for me because he's a striker, likes to come forward, and it's good for me. I like when the guys that do that because I have good counters, I have power, and when the guy throw a lot of crazy punches, I'm always able to find space in between. So I'm really excited like with this style. I think it's a good style for me, and it's gonna be good.
Well, you almost led me perfectly to my last question. I love to end these things with a prediction. So you're talking about finding that space in between, finding that chin a little bit. Give me the official prediction for May 17th.
So official prediction: I'm gonna win by knockout in the second round.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, folks. That's been Mairon Santos, who fights Sodiq Yusuff at UFC Vegas 106. Once again, that fight, May 17th. Myron, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.